Hi, Ryan Hanley here, the founder of Rogue Risk, and today we're going to talk about ransomware and what you need to look for on a cyber liability policy to make sure that you have covered. The first thing that I want to share with you is not all cyber liability policies are created equal. Cyber liability is not, I want to repeat, not a standardized policy, which means that each company, each policy is going to be written differently. If you have two different policies with two different companies, just because they're both called cyber liability does not mean that they cover the same things. So you want to be working with a professional, someone that understands cyber liability to make sure that they can work through the various coverages and exclusions on each of those policies to fit what you need. And for every company, it's going to be different. When it comes to ransomware, there are a couple particular coverages that you want to be aware of. This is because of the nature of how most ransomware attacks happen, which is through one of two means. The first is phishing, which means a company has a way of masking or crafting, in most cases an email, but it can also be a text message that has a malicious link, a link that once it's clicked, that delivers executable software onto your machine, into your network that is considered malware, some sort of program that has malicious intent, whether it's focused on your particular system or that software will utilize your system and your network to distribute attacks out at other companies, which obviously is where claims against your company, lawsuits brought against your company, those things can really stack up. The second most common method that hackers and cyber criminals will use with ransomware attacks is called social engineering. And this is, at a high level, a method in which these individuals and organizations will get someone from inside your company to give them access to or share passwords or give up enough information about themselves in which the cyber criminals can then use that information to hack into your system, to break passwords, get into the network. And there's a lot of kind of psychology and human behavior that goes into this. It's fairly complex and sophisticated stuff and quite scary when you really dive into it. But social engineering in particular is a method of cyber attack that is not covered on every cyber policy. And I want to be very, very clear about this because this is a question that I get a lot. Companies buy a cyber policy. They often try to buy the cheapest policy they can possibly buy in order to cover their risk, which is understandable. And many of these type of more sophisticated cyber attacks, many of the most popular and most kind of current and modern cyber attacks are not covered on those policies or potentially not covered. And you're going to be very upset if you have a cyber attack against your company, you actually took the time and effort to purchase a cyber policy, and then something like social engineering is specifically excluded, which I see all the time. Honestly, when it comes to defending against ransomware attacks, there are risk management type activities that you can do internally. I actually did a video on 10 kind of risk management tactics that small and mid-sized businesses can do to reduce their risk. I'll have that linked up with this video, most likely below this video in either the post or the description, wherever you're watching it. But when it comes down to it, things like social engineering, things like phishing, you can have some of the tightest risk management practices in place, and someone just accidentally clicks the wrong link, accidentally doesn't look at the email address fully, thinks they're responding to someone internally and gives up a password or gives up an ID or some other piece of information, and then they're in. And once they're in, these individuals, these organizations can wreak havoc. They can shut your system down from operating. They can distribute more malware out and use you as a distribution point, use your network as a distribution point. They can extract funds. They can transfer funds. They can extract funds from clients. They can initiate payments. There's all kinds of really nasty things that these guys can do once they're in your system. And as much as I would love to tell you there is an absolute way of stopping it from happening, there isn't. You need to have coverage for things like funds transfer, things like social engineering. These are common exclusions on most cyber liability policies. They need to either be added back in, or you need to work with a company that just includes them automatically. Talk to your insurance professional about cyber liability. If you aren't comfortable doing so, or if you appreciate this conversation and would like to work with Rogue Risk, we are experts in cyber liability. This is one of the primary coverages that we write every single day. We can answer your questions, we can walk you through the policy and make sure you have the coverages that you need at the best price in the market, because I know extra expense is not something that any of us want to take on right now, but things like cyber liability are just a crucial, critical part of your insurance program. They should not be thought as a luxury product in any way. But I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to walk you through that. This video has been kind of doom and gloom. I don't mean it to be. Hopefully, most of you will never have to experience this. I just want to make sure that we put this information in front of you so you can make the right decision for your business. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can call us anytime at 518-960-6600 or visit us online at roguerisk.com. We look forward to working with you.